gentlemen, and welcome to today's live presentation of the University of St. Francis Soccer. Today taking on Calumet College of St. Joseph. The kick is off and we are underway as the opening kick from St. Francis goes straight out of bounds. We're going to have a quick goal kick here coming up from Calumet. Thanks for tuning in to today's game. 45 minutes on the clock for the first half here. We've got 90 minutes of soccer coming your way. Saints come in with a record of 1-2-1 overall this season, looking for their first victory today since a month ago, August 17th, their season opener. They were victorious against Marygrove, but they've been unable to come away with a victory ever since. Calumet comes in also with just one win on the season. They've had a few more opportunities, though. The Crimson Wave of Calumet St. Joseph 1-5 so far on the season. St. Francis going right to left on our screens today. They're wearing gold and white. And Calumet St. Joseph wearing crimson, going left to right on your screen here for the first half. They're across midfield for the first time and taken away by Casey Harris of St. Francis. Saints have gotten their offense going a little bit the last few games, but have not been able to come away with victories. They scored 2 goals their last time out, so the defense is what they're looking to step up today. As the ball goes out of bounds for a Crimson Wave throw-in, let's take a look at the starters for today's game. For St. Francis, defensively, they've got Bianca Rivera, Haley Wenberg, Kiki Estrada, and Shannon Padone. On the midfield, they start with Carly Drahim, Camille Papalera, Alex Trular, and Casey Harris. A little bit of a run here, but that is shut down before Rueda can get going. That's Kayla Paith now, crossing it towards the middle. A header is going to roll right into the box and an easy pickup for the goalie, Jasmine Castillo. Forwards for St. Francis today are the aforementioned Kayla Paith and Leslie Rueda. Back in goal, making her first start of the season, Bethany Dumkowski. Taken away here by the Crimson Wave defense. I'll give you their starters in just a moment. On the far sideline, it's tapped back and out sent ahead, knocked away by St. Francis, and Harris once again will wrestle that into the Saints' control but immediately lose it. And now knocked down to Dumkowski, who will get her first touch of the game. Dumkowski all the way up in the box as far as she can go. She's able to scoop that ball up. For the Crimson Wave of Calumet St. Joseph, Maria Garcia starts on defense with Elizabeth Munoz and Hannah Alderson. And the defense will get a bit of a test right there as it is cleared away by Hannah Alderson. Now the Saints trying to make another run. Now on the far side and towards the sideline, it's kept in bounds by the Crimson Wave, whose midfielders today are Serena Valise, Kelsey Brzezinski, Andrea Ramirez, and Esmeralda Padilla. The forwards are Fatima Garcia and Brianna Doherty. Katie Rubright, another starter on defense. Not sure if I mentioned her name the first time around. We're 3 minutes into today's game. No real action so far. Both teams just grappling for possession at this point. This is Estrada for St. Francis, sending it forward towards the sideline. It's going to roll out of bounds. Throw-in goes to the Crimson Wave. St. Francis again, 1-2-1, coached by John Nikshevich. Calumet College of St. Joseph, 1-5. Marek Radzishevsky is their head coach. They've got control now on the far sideline, tapped towards the middle of the field and taken away by the Saints. And now a chance and a good cross to Kayla Paith, but the offsides flag is up. Paith just barely offsides right there. And her step, which got her in behind the defense just a half second too soon, had her cleared up on a good cross there for what would have been a one-on-one shot with the goalkeeper. Instead, it'll be a free kick here for Calumet St. Joseph. The wind pushing that ball a little bit. A pretty brisk breeze blowing straight north today. It's a gorgeous day for any outdoor activity, soccer of course included, here in Joliet. Sun is shining with just a smattering of puffy white clouds overhead. Down the near sideline, it's Harris trying to find Paith. It is intercepted instead by Katie Rubright, and Rubright is able to clear it out of bounds. She's able to knock it off of Harris to keep it in Calumet's possession. The throw-in goes down the sideline, but immediately knocked back the other way by Haley Wenberg. Paith's kick is intercepted. And back to St. Francis. Now a battle for the ball near the 40-yard line on the football field. Knocked down the sideline towards Paith, and Paith couldn't quite reach it. A little bit too far for her on that ball, and the throw-in will come to St. Francis. Will actually be rolled back for a free kick. Just under 40 minutes to play in the first half. Kick goes down into the box. Alex Trular trying to make a run, but it's too far for her, and Jasmine Castillo will step up and make the stop. Castillo, starting goalie today for Calumet St. Joseph, making her 5th start of the year. She's played in all but one of her team's games this season. Just on the Calumet offensive side, the ball is taken away by the Saints and knocked down the sideline and kicked out of bounds by Elizabeth Munoz. Now what she was intending to do right there, she stepped up on the defensive end. One bad touch, went out of bounds, throw into the Saints, and now they control it along the sideline. Leslie Rueda trying to make a run. Rueda will keep this ball in bounds as she gets it down in the corner, and it's knocked off of her foot and out of bounds. That ball was last touched by Rueda. Good defense there by Elizabeth Munoz as she was able to step in on Rueda, prevent the cross, and force Rueda to touch that ball out for a goal kick. Castillo sets it up to send it away. Right in the middle of the field. Here at ATI Field, Joliet Memorial Stadium. 3rd home game of the season for the Fighting Saints, but it's the first one they've had here in a while. August 25th was the last time they played here. That was a 2-0 loss to Taylor. They played their last 2 games on the road, spending Labor Day weekend in Michigan, doing battle on that Saturday against Aquinas and on that Monday against Cornerstone. And this is their first game since Labor Day. So it's the first time they've been on the field in 12 days, kind of licking their wounds after going 0-2-1 over their last 3 games. So hopefully the rest has done them a little bit good. So far, not much has happened in this one. 7.5 minutes in. This is the Saints controlling, back on the defensive end. Shannon Padone steps up and sends it forward for Kayla Paith. It's deflected off to Rueda, off the head of Rueda, and knocked away by the Crimson Wave. Back at midfield, a battle for the ball, and it's still loose, but it will be won by Calumet. Taken on the far end here. Across midfield, and intercepted by the Saints once again. Kick downfield, no offensive help. After the defense was able to knock that one ahead, and it'll roll harmlessly into the hands of Jasmine Castillo, Crimson Wave goalkeeper. Whistle blows at midfield on the punt from the goalie. And that one will go against St. Francis. So they go back to set up on defense. Certainly they've had more control of the ball in the early going today. Calumet has not yet been able to mount an attack, which has not been uncommon for them. They have struggled on the offensive side. They've been outshot coming into today, 87-35. They do have the one win, but by and large, they have not been able to generate much offense. And so far today has been no exception, although we are just 9 minutes into the game. Here's a run from Kayla Paith, and once again, she's offsides. Second time today that Paith has gone off while attempting to make a play towards the net. Another free kick for the Crimson Wave. About 40 yards out from their own net. Down on the far side, it's sent towards the middle of the field. Here's Andrea Ramirez. Ramirez boots it off to her right. Calumet trying to control it, but Brzezinski was unable to get a clean touch, so now it's up for grabs. Right at midfield, Casey Harris wrestling for that ball. It looks like Harris is going to win that attack. Takes it away, but immediately intercepted, and right back to Calumet. There's a tumble from one of the Crimson Wave players. That was Ramirez hitting the ground, but no call. And now Kayla Paith tries to control it on the near sideline. It's lost out of bounds, and that one last touched by Calumet. St. Francis throwing on the near sideline. It's Haley Wenberg. Wenberg lobs it across to Rueda. Knocked away from Rueda. They'll try to keep it in bounds unsuccessfully. Last touched again by Calumet. No score. Just over 10 minutes into today's action. This is St. Francis and Shannon Padone stepping up, knocking it off ahead and to her left. Harris touches once to Pate. This time Pate is offsides for a third time. Pate struggling with her positioning right now in the left forward spot. She's had a few really nice looking runs, but she's left early each time. That one not quite as promising as the other two she was whistled for offsides on. Not sure she would have really had a clean shot on net there anyway, but it is another free kick for the Crimson Wave. That's Serena Valise controlling and sending it off to the left side. Long run back for Bianca Rivera, and Rivera for the Saints is able to send it the other direction, but out of bounds. Throw in on the far sideline. Rivera steps in front again and heads it back the other way. Estrada against a couple of Calumet players loses control. And now the Saints get it back. Rueda taps it ahead to Pate. Pate is on sides this time. She's running down the near side, now pulls up. A shot from deep, and she can't get much on that ball. An easy save for Jasmine Castillo at her first of the game. Another run from the Saints, but well done defensively by Elizabeth Munoz, stepping up and heading that ball away. Crimson Wave trying to take it the other direction, but unsuccessfully as Estrada takes it away for St. Francis. Now a battle for the ball, won by the Crimson Wave. Back on the far side, they're across midfield. Touched right back to the middle of the logo there and taken away once again by St. Francis. Here comes Padone. Padone momentarily loses the ball and then knocked out of bounds, last touched by Padone. On the near sideline, right around midfield, throw in for the Crimson Wave and knocked right back out of bounds. They'll do it again from about 10 yards further down the field. Katie Rubright does the honors here, right defensive back. And intercepted by Casey Harris. Harris has been involved pretty significantly in the early going in today's game. She's played a strong defensive first half. 13 minutes into today's game, we have no score. Estrada, big kick downfield. She finds Kayla Pate. Pate in a sea of crimson, trying to find her way into the box. Pate with a shot, knocked back by Castillo. The ball still loose. Pate will try again. It rolls towards the net and off the crossbar, out of bounds. A flurry of activity there as Kayla Pate had a couple of chances. A good shot that time, but it was deflected by Castillo. Right back to Pate. Pate from an awkward angle. Had her shot deflected by the defense off the crossbar and just out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick here from St. Francis. First corner kick of the game from either team. Alex Trular sends it in, back post, and deflected away by Castillo. Right back out of bounds. We're going to see another corner kick, I believe. But this time, they'll set up all the way on the other end. Went back to the opposite end of the net before being knocked out of bounds. So Trular will position the ball on the other side after a long run across the field. Another corner kick. Again, she goes to the backside, but this time she airmails everybody over the heads of both Harris and Rivera, and it rolls straight out of bounds. So they had an opportunity on the first corner kick. The second one not so pretty. Never touched anybody else. And the Crimson Wave are able to dodge a bullet after back-to-back corner kicks go nowhere for St. Francis. Crimson Wave ball, trying to hold on to it for a little bit longer here. They have not been able to maintain any significant possession so far in today's game. And it's intercepted here by Bianca Rivera. They weren't even able to get it to midfield before losing command. Rivera loses it right back to the Crimson Wave. And now taken away by St. Francis. Down the far sideline. Knocked away and out of bounds. That was last touched by Calumet. Ball lobbed in towards the back line, and it'll go out there. St. Francis not able to mount attack that time, and Castillo sets it up for another goal kick. Just under 30 minutes to play in the first half. We've seen no score. The Saints have had better opportunities. They were able to get a couple of shots off the last few times they've been down here. Crimson Wave still have not done anything on the offensive side. This is Estrada tapping it back. And now she gets it right back from Rivera. Down the far sideline, she's looking for Trular. Trular will catch up to that ball down in the corner. She dribbles into the box. Trular with a pass to the middle. Rueda's shot is saved. Nice setup from Trular. Rueda was able to get a little bit of juice on that shot, but right into the gut of Jasmine Castillo, who did a nice job of stepping up and making the stop. Maybe the best shot of the afternoon so far from St. Francis, but Crimson Wave take it and send it the other way. Still no score. You would expect, I think, a low-scoring game today between two teams that have not been able to really get into a groove offensively up to this point in the season, as Domkowski steps up from the goalkeeping position, picks that ball up deep in the box. She'll punt it away. Still very early, so there's a chance we'll see a few goals before this one is all said and done, as Rueda tries to start off the offense here. Nice turnaround cross over to Kayla Paith. Paith has to track it back to her left. Now she's trying to find a way back to the net. Instead, she'll play it back to Haley Wenberg. Wenberg is going to go even further back. That's Padone stepping up from the defensive line. Defense all up across midfield right now, but the Crimson Wave are able to clear. Well played defensively there. It is Calumet in possession right now. Knocked off to the right side, and stepping up to intercept it is Haley Wenberg. Nice play for her. She looks for Rueda going up the middle of the field. Rueda loses control of that ball, but the Saints get it right back. This is Alex Trular going off sides. Trular fielded that pass on the far side, but she was beyond the defense a little bit too quickly. Fourth time today, I believe, that St. Francis has been called for an offsides. Kayla Paith was whistled for 3 of them in just the first few minutes of today's game. Well, it shows in one way how often the Saints have been in that position down there. They've had a much higher percentage control of the ball up to this point. It's the fact that they've been offsides as often as they have. Certainly not something they're looking for, because they want to get higher percentage attacks, but it also shows how many chances they've had to get the ball deep down the field. And they have been in control of possession today, as Haley Wenberg knocks it down, looking for Leslie Rueda. Mistouched by the Crimson Wave, and now Rueda will have it in the box, looking to get it across to Truarla Castillo. Jumps in front and knocks that ball down. Another good play by the goalie, Jasmine Castillo, after Katie Rubright's mistouch nearly led to a St. Francis goal. Under 27 minutes to play in the first half. Still less than 20 minutes into today's game. The Saints are trying to take control here. They've pretty much been in control. Just haven't been able to do it on the scoreboard yet, as they nearly come up with a goal right there. A shot from deep is knocked down by Castillo. She ends up catching it on her own rebound and clearing it away. Nice work by Rivera to step up on defense. Ahead to Rueda. Rueda's offsides. A little bit too strong for her anyway. Castillo was able to slide in and stop that ball. But if Rueda had been able to touch it, wouldn't have counted. Another offsides call against St. Francis. 26 minutes exactly on the clock for the first half. Wenberg over to Harris, looking for Kayla Paith, but intercepted that time by Rubright. Junior out of Wooddale, Illinois. Saints looking for another attack. This is Paith staying on sides, getting in the box. Battling one-on-one with Rubright. Paith turns around and sends it wide and out of bounds. From the left side, her goal misses, or shot I should say, misses the goal just to the left. Rubright was able to step in defensively, as was Esmeralda Padilla back from the midfield position. Paith has had a few good looks at the net. That one didn't quite make it to Castillo, just wide. And it's a goal kick for Jasmine Castillo. But she gives it right back to the Saints. Not a strong goal kick. And the Saints have another opportunity to develop an offensive possession here. Stolen by Andrea Ramirez. And now the Crimson Wave try to take possession, but they can't hold it for very long. At midfield, this is St. Francis, and it's Rivera, head to Trular. Trular, 35 yards out, dribbles off to the sideline. Knocked away from her, but she was the last one to touch it before it went out of bounds. Throw in for Calumet, right at midfield on the far sideline. Taken by Shannon Padone of the St. Francis defense. Rolled ahead and knocked forward for Wenberg. Wenberg on the sideline, trying to keep the ball inbounds and doing a good job of it, working against Kelsey Brzezinski. Now Paith into the box. This is Trular. Trular can't control it on the first touch, and it rolls off to the back line. That ball goes out of bounds for a corner kick. Trular may have had a shot at a goal right there, but she couldn't control the ball cleanly on her first touch. She rolled it a little bit too far ahead, but Maria Garcia stepped in and touched that ball last before it went out the back line. So it sets up a corner kick, third of the game coming from Trular. Trular plays it short, deflected by Castillo. The ball was still loose. Rueda was on the back end, but it was nicely knocked away by a Crimson Wave defender. I didn't see which one of the defenders it was that was able to get in front of that ball, but after Castillo was not able to control it, looked like the Saints had a good shot, and it didn't work out that way. Nice defense by Calumet. And now the defense steps up again. Elizabeth Munoz knocks it back across midfield. But another attack coming from the Saints. This is Trular on the outside. Trular goes in deep. Castillo plays it off the bounce, but she can't control it. She and Paith collide. That ball right at the net, and it'll stay out. Castillo dives on top of it and prevents the goal. That ball just rolled right towards the net, and a couple of defenders for Calumet stepped in after the collision between Paith and Castillo. It looked like it would just trickle into the net. But a big scrum with a couple of players from each side all colliding near the goal line end up stopping that ball long enough for Castillo to jump on top of it. That was a wild play and very nearly the first goal of the game. Instead, it's a stop for the Crimson Wave, who have done a great job of that all afternoon. We're about halfway through the first period. Dominated so far by St. Francis, but you wouldn't know it to look at the scoreboard. Two sides dead even at 0, despite a bevy of opportunities for the Saints. The Crimson Wave have not had one chance in St. Francis territory. Battle for the ball near the sideline, won by St. Francis. Harris taps it back to Wenberg, and Wenberg flies it deep. Down to Kayla Paith. Paith is able to get to that ball in a couple of hops. She controls it with her first touch, looking for a shot from deep, and it's deflected away. Nice defense from Alderson. Right in the middle, 20 yards out, knocked away. Trahim hits the ground as she tries to control that ball. Didn't work. Off to the right side. And now it's Harris. Harris has it stolen from her. Good tackle from Calumet. Out of bounds. That one last touched by the Crimson Wave. Camille Papalera was the player in on that ball for St. Francis. And now we've got a substitution as Jessica Reyes makes her first appearance. Not just her first appearance, but first appearance by any sub in today's game. Reyes has not started a game yet this year, but she's appeared in all of them. Coming in for the last 21 minutes of the first half in place of Kayla Paith, who has had a very active start to today's game. She's been busy, and now she'll get a chance to rest for a while, and we'll probably see her out there again in the second half. Rubright knocks it across midfield, but taken right back by the Saints. Now the two teams battle for possession. Brianna Doherty off her head, gets it to the middle. Harris takes it away nicely, and now the Saints are able to send it down the field. It rolls back towards the box. On the outside of the box, too far outside the net for Castillo to step up on it. But Rubright does a nice job of shadowing that ball all the way down and not allowing any St. Francis player to get to it, ensuring that it will be a goal kick. Castillo, as she typically has during today's game, sets it up right in the middle of the net, takes a two-step approach and gets a weakish kick off to the center of the field. This time, though, it does find a friendly foot as Calumet takes possession immediately off the goal kick, taken right back from Doherty. Alex Trular battling on the far side. Trular has a bad touch, and it's wrestled away from her. Now the loose ball is secured by St. Francis. Trular. Good kick down the field, trying to find Rueda. Rueda is knocked to the ground, no call, as she and Padilla got tangled up a little bit. Rueda was the one who hit the ground. Padilla was able to maintain her footing and clear it, for the moment at least, for Calumet. That's Padilla again rolling it ahead and out of the outside. The Crimson Wave are going to be able to clear this one easily. Doherty at midfield taps it off to Valise. And along the sideline, out of bounds. Last touched by the Crimson Wave. No score still. And we're down to the final 19 minutes of the first half. Not a whole lot of action to begin this game. It's turned around since then. There's been quite a bit of activity, but nothing yet showing up on the scoreboard. Most of the action has come on our left side, which is to say the offensive territory for St. Francis. They've gotten some good shots off. They've had a few really close chances, but nothing has yet gone in for them. Calumet, on the other hand, just trying to work to get anything going offensively as Rueda is whistled for offsides. Quite a few of those calls have been made against the Fighting Saints so far in today's game. Still no score as we approach the 18-minute mark. Ball is set 33 yards out. And the kick is sent away by Munoz. Right down the middle of the field. Here's Casey Harris taking it for the Saints. Down to the left side. It rolls ahead for Reyes. Reyes now deep into the corner, trying to get it back towards the box. She's able to chip it in. Stepping up and deflecting it away is Alderson. Back to Estrada, and now Trular. Trular looking for some help, but it's well defended by Maria Garcia. Garcia knocks it right out the sideline, out of bounds. St. Francis gets the throw in. Trular gets it in, but nobody there for the Saints as it's knocked away by Garcia and out of bounds. That will be another corner kick. Fourth corner opportunity of the game for St. Francis. Trular sent it in well last time. Nearly resulted in a goal. She'll play this one short. It's headed away. And all the way out the other sideline. This will be a throw in for the Fighting Saints. That was Esmeralda Padilla who got her noggin on that ball and deflected it straight back. Didn't really go anywhere, but she was at least able to prevent any Fighting Saints from taking possession. Wenberg sends it in, looking for Rueda. Too tall for her. Now from the backside, it's Estrada stepping up and shooting long, but too long. Well, over the net and wide to the right anyway. Out of bounds for a goal kick. 16 and a half minutes to play in today's first half. We've got no score. We've seen one substitution so far in today's game. That came from St. Francis as Jessica Reyes came on for Kayla Pace. No subs have come in yet for Calumet, but they don't have very many of them. Just 5, including their goalkeeper, Gina Lucicero. So only 4 actual players available off the bench, if you don't consider the goalie a player. I think you know what I mean. Haley Wenberg taps it back to Shannon Padone. Now it's Reyes. Reyes has it tackled away from her. Serena Valise, after the tackle, sends it down the field, but nobody there on the offensive side for the Crimson Wave, so they'll roll softly back to Bethany Domkowski. She'll position her teammates before punting it away right down the middle of the field and just beyond midfield. Valise knocks it back with her head, looking for Brianna Doherty. Doherty can't quite reach that ball. Instead, it's controlled by the Saints. Ahead for Rueda. A one-on-one race here as Rueda tracks it down into the box, but she is muscled off the ball, and it goes out of bounds. Good defense there by Elizabeth Munoz. She and Reyes sprinting back on that ball, or Rueda, sorry. And Munoz got there before Rueda could and just boxed her out, making sure that ball would go out for a goal kick. The goal kick is not productive, at least in the short term. Casey Harris has possession for the Saints. Harris looking ahead for Reyes, off Reyes' foot and back the other direction. A whistle blows. The foul is going to be called against St. Francis. It was Casey Harris who got involved. Kick downfield and taken away by the Fighting Saints. Back into Calumet territory. Trular will dribble it all the way back behind midfield. Working to the opposite end of the field. Trular took that ball almost all the way from one end to the other. She had possession for a while, but she was never able to turn the corner and actually get anywhere. Knocked out of bounds. It is a St. Francis throw-in. Off the foot of Reyes, down the sideline and out of bounds. That was Haley Wenberg who touched that ball last. Throw-in for Calumet. Off the knee of Elise, and she's not able to control it as Harris knocks back the other way across midfield. Trular looking in the air for Rueda, deflected away from her and back across the midfield stripe. And a whistle blows. I think we've got offsides against Calumet. The defense had all stepped up for St. Francis, and so even though Crimson Wave weren't really able to get anywhere with that attack, somebody was on the wrong end. Just under 13 minutes to go in the first half. Still no score. St. Francis will try to break that stretch late in the half, and they've got a chance here in the box. This is Rueda knocking it out of bounds. Rueda actually had a little help. She had Trular off to her left. She had Reyes to the left of Trular, although either one of those girls could have taken a shot there had they been able to get to the ball, because Castillo was stepping up to try to play the ball and prevent Rueda from getting a clean shot off. And she did just that. If Rueda could have just gotten one good touch, she could have tapped it off to her left. She had plenty of teammates there to help with an empty net. But it goes nowhere once again for the Fighting Saints. They've had a lot of golden opportunities fly past them. And that's allowed Calumet to stay in this game despite the fact that they have not played particularly well through the first 33 minutes of today's game. They're still just one good play away, or one St. Francis mistake away from taking the lead. This is Rivera dribbling down the far side. She centers it to Rueda, and Rueda loses control. Knocked out of her possession by the Crimson Wave, and now the ball loose deep in St. Francis territory, and Shannon Padone is able to flex her defensive muscles. Padone's pass forward is deflected. Back to Casey Harris. Harris ahead for Trular, and she is offsides. Exciting action here in the first half. Despite the lack of scoring we've seen in today's game, there's been quite a bit of activity, especially from St. Francis, and especially on this side of the field. A lot going on here. Calumet trying to establish dominance on the other end. Pass ahead for Kelsey Brzezinski is knocked away and out of bounds by the Saints. Doherty trying to control this ball, and she does. Knocked back and intercepted. Right into the waiting foot of Casey Harris. Harris has not given up control. She's racing all the way down the field on her own. Now off to the right side. She does find some help from teammate Alex Trular. Trular shoots from deep and she scores! From way out on the right side with 10:31 to play in the first half. That was a long shot right there. And St. Francis is able to strike the scoreboard first. So 1-0 our score. Set up by Trueau's possession on the far side. St. Francis has taken the 1-0 lead over Calumet St. Joseph. That's a big goal because St. Francis has seemingly been in control of this game pretty much since the start. But anytime you let a team hang in there, the way that has happened so far in today's game, that other team I'm sure starts to build confidence. And in the case of Calumet today, they've known all along that even though they've been outplayed, there's just one shot potentially away from taking a lead. That is no longer the case. And now they will be back on their heels a little bit the rest of the way. As they try to reverse their fortunes, they're going to have to start pushing the tempo the other way now. And they do have possession right now in St. Francis territory, and they're going to get a free kick as well, as Brianna Doherty is knocked down about 30 yards out from the right side of the field. That's where Elise will be able to take this free kick. Everybody positioning themselves downfield. A three-man wall set up by St. Francis, 7 yards in front of the ball. Elise is going to try to put it on goal, but she sails it wide and high up to the left of the net. The first real shot of the game, I think, from Calumet right there. And it came on a free kick. Not a great chance, not a great shot, but you got to take those, I guess, when they've been few and far between good opportunities to score. And I think that's what Elise was thinking right there. Rather than set up a play, let's just put one on the net and see if Demkowski can stop it, but she couldn't put it exactly where she wanted to. Too high, too wide, and they're right back where they started, trailing 1-0. The defense of St. Francis trying to step up here, deep in their own territory on the defensive side. Casey Harris in a good battle right there with Andrea Ramirez. Finally ended up losing the ball out of bounds. It was along the sideline. So it's a throw-in here for Calumet. Elise going to take a good run up to this one, going back on the track and now stepping forward and playing it short to Ramirez, who knocks off her head and straight out of bounds. They weren't able to get anything going right there. Field is in the shade for just a moment as the sun peeks behind the cloud, but for the most part it's been a bright sunny field here. Hasn't really played much of an impact on anything so far. Headed back to midfield, and Ramirez takes control as Bianca Rivera, the defender, fell down. Ramirez down the middle of the field, and stepping up to knock that ball away is Shannon Padone going the other direction. There's a deep kick into the box. Demkowski will step up on that ball, and Demkowski is able to get there before Brianna Doherty is. She scoops up the ball and sends everybody else downfield so she can give it a good punt. 1-0 lead right now for St. Francis. They held the lead at a similar juncture of the game last time around. Back on September 5th against Cornerstone, they were actually up by a goal in the second half. About 10 minutes into the second half, but ended up falling in that game 3-2. So they know the one-goal lead is far from comfortable as Doherty makes a good run into the box. There's a shot and a save by Demkowski. Knocked right out the back line for a corner kick, but crisis averted at least for the moment. Demkowski made a nice save. That's just her second save of the season. She had played only one half of soccer prior to today. Jessica Kiley, the usual starter, not out there today. Demkowski instead gets the call and playing her second 45 minutes this year. Hannah Alderson will come up from defense to send in this corner kick. Demkowski parries it away and outside the box. As Esmeralda Padilla steps up to try to set up a new offensive chance for the Crimson Wave. She crosses over to Ramirez. Ramirez sends it high and out of bounds. over the net, out the back line. Goal kick here for the Fighting Saints, who will bring on a couple of substitutes. 3 of them, in fact. Olivia Hollander is coming in. Son number 14, Grace McDermott. And the third new player appears to be Brittany Cook. So 3 freshmen entering the contest here for the Fighting Saints for the final 5 minutes of this first half. St. Francis scored with 10:31 on the clock, the game's first goal. And of course the only goal up to this point. Long run for Cook on the far side. Cook's not able to retrieve that ball defensively. Turning back towards the inside is Ramirez, and Ramirez loses control of that ball out of bounds, but it was Cook who touched it last. And that sets up another corner kick. Crimson Wave had one just a minute ago, and now they'll try again. This time they play it short, and it's headed away, going towards the box. They're not even able to get it into the box following the corner kick. Disappointing development right there for Calumet College of St. Joseph. 4 minutes on the clock. Saints in control of the ball right now with the lead. Pass is intercepted, knocked the other way. And this is Garcia. Garcia across midfield, but intercepted. Wenberg down the field for Rueda. Rueda lets that ball roll up her leg and behind her back into the box, where it's knocked out of bounds. Last touched by Maria Garcia. Throw in for the Fighting Saints, already deep in Crimson Wave territory. Here's Trular with the cross. She's got Reyes there. Reyes has a shot and a score. Trular sets up another one. She was the team's leading point getter coming into today with 3 goals and 1 assist, and she picks up another assist right here. Nicely set up into the box. Castillo came up a little bit too strong on it, and she was out of the picture, allowing Reyes to tap that one into the back of the net. And so now all of a sudden, 2-0. This game had been even for pretty much the whole first half, but in the last 8.5 minutes, we've got 2 St. Francis goals. Calumet trying to respond, but Domkowski steps up and scoops that ball off the ground. She will kick off across midfield. That ball loose up in the air. Trular was knocked down, and she's on the ground right now. Clutching her head, she jumped up, I think with Serena Valise. And Valise is actually down in a crouch as well. Clock is stopped with 2 minutes 44 seconds to play in the first half. Trular is up on her own. The medical staff is going to come on and have a look at her. And the medical staff will have a quick look at Valise as well. There's a collision. No whistle is blown on the collision. It was a 50-50 ball up in the air. Both gals jumped for it. And I don't know if they knocked heads or bodies, but either way, Trular immediately hit the ground. She was clutching her head. So I think that she knocked her head into Valise there, and she hit the ground. The whistle was blown to indicate the injury timeout. She was down on her knees for maybe 20 seconds or so, but she was able to help herself up, and she actually looked, at least from her perspective, like she was ready to go. Kind of waving off the medical staff, but they came out anyway to make sure that she's all right. And now they'll walk back towards the sideline with her. So we'll see if she's able to stay in the game, or if she maybe comes out with just 2:44 to go in the first half. It might be worth leaving her out until the break and putting her back in there. But if she's feeling all right, she may just hang around. She's standing on the sideline right at midfield. Now she walks back towards the bench. The trainers are busy right now, as Elizabeth Munoz has come over for some assistance as well. She's going to get her leg taped up a little bit. Game has resumed, although Munoz is still being taped up on the field of play. She's back out there now with action from both sides. 9 players on the field right now, plus the goalie for St. Francis. Trular is on the bench. They have not yet replaced her. Near midfield, that ball is kicked forward by St. Francis, deflected the other way by Calumet, and now up in the air, off to the far sideline. This ball will stay in bounds for the time being. And out of bounds, last touch by St. Francis. Throw in for Calumet. Two to nothing, St. Francis leads, under 2 minutes to play in the game's first half. Domkowski kicks it off to the left side. And that's Grace McDermott. I think that was McDermott's first touch of today's game. She just came on about 4 minutes ago off the bench. 2 other first-year players, meaning at the moment, there are actually 3 freshmen on the field. All 3 of them came in at the same time. That one into the box and knocked away off the head of Camille Papalera. Well defended there. She was able to put her head on the ball and knock it out of bounds. Everybody will come down the field right here and set this one up for Calumet. 57 seconds and counting here in the first half, and looking for a new ball. Finally, they'll retrieve it and put it down in the corner. Alderson there actually went way back beyond the line to track that ball down, and finally just got a new one. There's the corner kick, headed away, and still in the box. This is Reyes finally clearing it for the Fighting Saints. 30 seconds left with the ball now back in Crimson Wave territory, and it looks like Calumet may have just lost their last chance to score here in the first half. St. Francis still has a shot to add to their lead with 20 seconds on the clock. That ball is ahead into the box and picked up by Castillo, and that, one would think, would do it for the first half. Castillo will take her time before getting rid of that ball. She gives a little low punt. 6 seconds left, and this will be cleared by Calumet. So that's going to do it for the first half of play here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. St. Francis really dominated for the majority of the half, though they didn't have a lot to show for it on the scoreboard. It was tied at 0 for most of the way for the first 34 and a half minutes, in fact. But in the last 10 and a half minutes of the first half, St. Francis was able to score 2 goals and really establish themselves as the team to beat in this game, up 2-0, looking for their second victory of the season. They are just 45 minutes away. I'll step aside for a couple of minutes and back with 14 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock until second half starts. We'll be back then with the start of your second half. So stick around. You're watching St. Francis Fighting Saints soccer here at ATI Field at Joliet Memorial Stadium. It's a 2-0 lead over Calumet College of St. Joseph. second half just about set to begin here at ATI Field at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call for today's game between St. Francis and Calumet St. Joseph. First half belonged to the home team. The Fighting Saints dominated on their way to a 2-0 lead, and that's where we stand right now. The two teams have reversed fields. Crimson Wave in crimson going right to left. And the Fighting Saints in gold and white going from left to right. Here in the second half, Calumet gets the first touch of the second half, and they'll send it right back to Serena Valise to get things started here. It's in Calumet territory, and that's where the Saints are able to take it away. So not the opening possession Calumet was looking for here. About 35 yards out. This is Alex Trular. That's where she scored from in the first half. I'll give you the full scoring recap from the first half in just a moment. As soon as Crimson Wave are able to clear this ball, it looks like for the moment they've done just that. St. Francis was really dominant for the first half hour of the game, but they didn't have a lot to show for it. They had a number of chances. Nothing went down for them, though, and so it was tied 0-0 at the 11-minute mark of the first half. And with 10:31 officially on the clock, St. Francis was able to get their first goal. It came from Alex Trular, and it came unassisted. She controlled it on the far sideline, which is from her perspective to the right of the goal, and she sent one deep from about 35 yards out. She was able to loft it over the head of the goalkeeper, Jasmine Castillo, and net the first score of the game for the Fighting Saints. It was 1-0. Again, that was at the 10:31 mark. They scored again just about 8 minutes later. Officially 8 minutes and 13 seconds later, as that ball into the box, cleared by Calumet, but right back to St. Francis. And now Alex Trular can't quite reach that ball on the far side, as it is deflected away. Wenberg steps up from the defensive line of St. Francis, sends it back ahead, but it's cleared immediately by Calumet. Domkowski will let that ball go back into the box. It rolls past her, and she's got to dive on top of it. Nice recovery from Domkowski, but she misplayed it in the first place. As she stepped up outside of the box, she recognized she couldn't pick that ball up. So she had to play it with her feet, but she kind of got caught in between playing it with her feet and picking it up, and it rolled right beyond her. Fortunately for the Saints, there was nobody there for Calumet to knock that ball in. Domkowski was able to race back and dive on top of the ball. Now the Saints have a chance on the other end. This is Kayla Pate setting up Casey Harris in the middle of the field and knocked back the other way. Nice opportunity there for the Saints, but it doesn't go anywhere. They'll try again with Bianca Rivera stepping up and sending it ahead to Trular. Alex Trular had a big first half. Not only did she score that first goal, but she set up the second goal. She had a nice ball into the box, crossing it to Jessica Reyes, and Reyes scored her first goal of the season by knocking it right past Jasmine Castillo. For Trular, it was her fourth goal. For Reyes, again, her first of this year. And it's 2-0 St. Francis as a result. We're now 3 minutes into the second half. And the Crimson Wave trying to come back. On the positive side for Calumet, they have scored 2 goals in a game once before. That was in their lone victory of the season, 2-1 against St. Mary's of Indiana 2 Saturdays ago. That's the positive. The negative for them is, aside from that 1 2-goal outburst, they've only got 1 goal all season. They have, in fact, been shut out in 4 of their first 6 games this year. And St. Francis is trying to make it 5 of their first 7. As far as Fighting Saints go, it would be their second shutout if they could finish it off. There is a long way to go in this game. Still 41 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Lobbed in down the sideline. This is Bianca Rivera trying to step up defensively for the Saints. Rivera does, with a little bit of help from Kiki Estrada. And now cleared away by Padone. Shannon Padone, the closest one to this ball as well. But she'll just shadow it all the way back into the box, where Domkowski is able to pick it up. 2-0. Fighting Saints have a lead just under 5 minutes into the second half. Kayla Pate touches at midfield. The ball down the side to Pate. Pate stays on sides. She's in the box. She'll shoot. It's wide. off the side of the net, out of bounds for a goal kick. Nice setup right there. Kayla Paith tried to finish it off, but an awkward final touch as she was well wide of the net on that ground ball shot. So the score remains at 2 for the time being. Paith ahead to Dream, and now a whistle blows, and the offsides flag was up from the far end. That means another free kick for Calumet. Other stats from that first half. St. Francis, and I've said it a number of times, they really dominated the first half, and you can see it in some of these statistics. 10 shots in that first half compared to only 3 for Calumet, as it's cleared away by the St. Francis defense towards the sideline and out of bounds. Doherty gave it a good run, but it's going to be Crimson Wave throw-in anyway. Right to Doherty. She has it poked from between her legs by Bianca Rivera. Rivera knocks it right back out of bounds. Maria Garcia will throw it in again. Again to Doherty, one touch towards the middle of the field, and Padone steps in front of that ball. Padone skies it away. Shots on goal first half, 6-1. So Jasmine Castillo had a very busy first half. Bethany Domkowski didn't have to do all that much. In fact, the one shot that was on goal was a fairly easy save for Bethany Domkowski, so she didn't have to break much of a sweat in the first 45 minutes. She's already been challenged a little bit more here in the second half, although the one play that really made her sweat a little bit was, at least in part due to her own mistake, she was able to recover from it. Jasmine Castillo hasn't had to combat any shots so far in the second half, but she might have one here. Paith by the defense. There's a shot and a goal. That ball just freed up all the way down into the box. Paith had a nice run there. And in fact, Rueda was right next to her. If Paith didn't score, Rueda probably would have. They both were able to stay on sides, but streaking beyond the defense. And that turned out to be a fairly easy goal in the end for Kayla Paith, and that is her third goal of the season. She entered play today, just one behind Alex Trular for the team lead, and now Paith is on the board today, but Trular is as well, so Paith remains 1 goal behind Trular for the team lead. She was 1 point behind Alex Trular for the team lead as well. That's goals and assists. Goals counting double in the points category, but Trular also has an assist, so she's actually distanced her lead in front of Paith in that category. 3-0 now the score. St. Francis leads after the goal from Kayla Paith just 6.5 minutes in to the second half. And that one hasn't necessarily put it away, but it's given the Saints a bit of breathing room, and it's got them, I'm sure, feeling very good about starting conference season off with a victory. Neither of these teams came in with the record they wanted. St. Francis 1-2-1, Calumet 1-5, but today is the first conference battle for each team. Saints making another run now deep into Calumet territory. Paith in the box looking for a cross. Her pass was deflected, knocked out of bounds by Calumet. So on the far sideline, we've got a Fighting Saints throw-in into Leslie Rueda. Rueda has it wrestled away from her, and it's well defended by the Crimson Wave there. Cleared by Valise off to the opposite end of the field. Rivera takes it for the Saints and loses it out of bounds. It was actually Estrada who lost it out of bounds. It was deflected away, so it's a throw-in for Bianca Rivera. Looking for some help, she finds Leslie Rueda. Off her thigh, she taps it to the other side. Now towards the middle of the field, deflected away, and right back to the defender, Shannon Padone, who steps up from her spot to try to start an offensive attack. This is Wenberg on the far side. Wenberg ahead to Paith and knocked out of bounds. "3-0 Fighting Saints." Into the box, headed away. Elizabeth Munoz got her head on that ball. And now downfield to Brooke Jackson. First time I've said the name Brooke Jackson today. I believe that's her first touch. came in here in the second half. Pass for Alex Trular is deflected, knocked away. Nice clearance. Just under 36 minutes on the clock. Out of bounds, last touched by St. Francis. Throw in for the Crimson Wave. Both of these teams will have tough tasks coming up next. St. Francis takes on Olivet Nazarene at Olivet Nazarene this coming Tuesday. Olivet, the class of the conference so far. They are undefeated in conference, as is just about everybody else, as that cross is intercepted by Castillo. Calumet goalkeeper gets involved once again and punts it away. Pretty much everybody's undefeated because nobody's really played a game. Olivet, coming into play today, was the only undefeated CCAC team that had a victory on their resume, 1-0. They beat Purdue Northwest in their conference opener. Most of the conference schedule begins today. 6 games in the CCAC today. Whistle blows as that throw-in will go to St. Francis. Rivera will back it up before sending it in. So St. Francis now in very good position to start 1-0 in conference. Last year they won 7 conference games, which was the best mark in school history. They had a very good season last year. They brought back most of their players, so you know they had high hopes. They did certainly lose a good deal of talent, but not a good volume of talent. The majority of their starters are back from a season ago, including Casey Harris, who was a freshman, now a sophomore, sending ahead to Alex Trular. Trular all in the box, one-on-one with the keeper, and she sends it in. Second goal of the game for Alex Trular. And St. Francis's lead is 4-0. Huge game for Trular. She's got 2 goals and an assist. And that may have put this one away once and for all. 33:56 to go in today's game, and it's 4-0 Fighting Saints. Alex Trular has her second 2-goal game of the season. In fact, it is her second consecutive 2-goal game. She put her team ahead against Cornerstone 2 weeks ago, 2-1. Right around this stage of the game, in fact, with her 2 goals, Cornerstone came back and won it 3-2. So they were able to come from behind with only about 35 minutes to go. Calumet's going to try to do the same thing against the Fighting Saints. This is a very different situation for a couple of reasons. One, it's a 4-goal deficit. This would be a huge comeback for Calumet if they're able to do it. But beyond that, they really haven't shown the ability to post 4 goals up to this point. From way back in the corner, there's a free kick for Calumet. It rolls down the sideline, and right around midfield, it kicks out of bounds. St. Francis throwing. They still, I believe, only got 1 shot on goal. And now they need not only 4 shots on goal, but they need all of them to go in. And they've got just 32.5 minutes to accomplish all of that. Knocked right back out of bounds. Another throw-in coming up for St. Francis. So the Crimson Wave really have their backs up against the wall right here, and certainly they're still going to have their eyes on trying to pick up the tie here, send it to overtime, and win the game, or if they can, even win it in regulation. But I know, even I'm sure on their sideline, they recognize that it's a long shot at this point, and 1 small goal they can set for themselves just to put the ball in the net at some point. As I said before, they haven't shut out in 4 of their 6 games this year. So just getting a goal in some ways would be a moral victory. Casey Harris knocking it ahead. Ball loose and tracked down by St. Francis's Carly Dream. Deflected away towards the box. A whistle blows. Got a handball, I think, down on the far side. 31.5 minutes to play. Big lead for the Fighting Saints, and a free kick here for Alex Trular. She's right near the sideline, just about 20 yards out. Trular, the senior, waits for the whistle. She hears it, sends it ahead, deep into the box and right into the hands of the goalkeeper, Jasmine Castillo. Another strong kick from Alex Trular, but that time not much of a trouble for Castillo as she was able to adjust her position by just a couple of steps and make the catch on the fly. Calumet ball as they throw it in, and Casey Harris knocks it right back out of bounds. Along the sideline, it's another throw-in. Stolen away by St. Francis. Good tackle there. Estrada on the far side. Taps it off to her left to Haley Wenberg. Estrada once again looking for Kayla Pate down the sideline. Pate looks for the cross, trying to get it to Rueda. Stepping up is Elizabeth Munoz, and Munoz knocks it high in the air and out of bounds. We've got another throw-in coming up, but we've also got some substitutes coming in. One for each side. For St. Francis, it's Jessica Reyes replacing Leslie Rueda. Reyes scored a goal in the first half, and now on for Rueda a little bit earlier here in the second half. She substituted for Kayla Pate in the first half, but with a big lead here, Rueda gets an early breather here in the second half. Substitute came on for Calumet as well. Kelsey Brzezinski, who started today's game, is back in. Andrea Ramirez is headed out. A couple of midfielders. One junior subbing in for another. Goal kick here for Calumet. Less than a half hour still to play in this game. And it's a big lead for St. Francis at 4-0. Casey Harris steals away the goal kick, and now Harris coming hard the other way. Nice tap off to the side. Now rolled ahead into the box and knocked away from Reyes, but right back over to Kayla Pate. Pate will try a shot, but it's deflected out of bounds. That one deflected out the back line, which sets up a corner kick for St. Francis. So far today, they've had 4 corner kicks. None of them have led to a goal, but they have led to some good opportunities. This time it'll be Drahim and not Trular sending it into the middle of the field, deflected around a couple of times and cleared by Calumet. Doherty battling for that ball. She'll lose it to Estrada. And now Bianca Rivera. Rivera cuts it back towards the middle, takes a step outside, passes to Alex Trular. Trular working her way back. Now off to the sideline. Her kick forward is deflected out. Last touch by Maria Garcia. Rivera's throw over the head of Jessica Reyes and cleared by Esmeralda Padilla. Quick shot attempt there is deflected. And right back off to Bianca Rivera. Rivera's pass intercepted. Harris steps in front of that big kick from Maria Garcia, knocks it out the sideline. And that gives Garcia and company a throw-in. Along the sidelines, off the head of Rivera, and deflected back to Camille Papalera. Now Shannon Padone will work it all the way across the field, from right to left along the defensive side. I think all 4 defenders touched that ball, in fact, as they worked from one end of the field to the other. And now it's back in the midfield, and the ball is at midfield as well. On the near sideline, it's Casey Harris. Harris keeps it inbounds, but just barely, as it is stolen by Calumet. Taken back by Reyes. Reyes ahead to Trular, and Trular was offsides. .46:45 on the clock. Ahead to midfield, Brzezinski. Brzezinski loses control, back to Valise, Serena Valise, sophomore from Australia. Both of these teams, in fact, have a player from Australia. Valise, a sophomore from Melbourne. St. Francis has Keely Martin, a senior midfielder from Adelaide, Australia, not playing today. Casey Harris sends it forward into the box. Castillo slides forward and loses control. Paith is going to try to score. There's the shot, and it's good. Kayla Paith has her second score of the game. Castillo seemed to have that in her clutches. She slid forward and had it in her hands. Paith came running down and jarred the ball loose from Castillo. There was still a defender in there. I think it was Katie Rubright, who was the one standing in between Paith and the net. But Paith simply won that battle. A good shot makes it 5-0. Already the third goal of the second half for St. Francis, and we're only 19 minutes in. They're still in control of the ball as Reyes shoots it forward, but it's deflected and knocked off towards the sideline. That ball will be kept inbounds, but still in control of St. Francis. Papalea just on the defensive side of midfield. Rivera now ahead to Harris. Harris moving quickly, her pass deflected. Kick the other way across midfield. Battle for that ball, it's still up for grabs. And Casey Harris is going to win the battle. She taps it off to Haley Wenberg on the left side, and Wenberg will slowly work it forward. St. Francis has got the 5-goal lead, so they're not in any hurry at this point. Calumet, you would figure, is in a big hurry. Certainly, I wouldn't say time to panic, but time to speed things up, try to get some goals on the scoreboard, but so far they have just not been able to get any sort of offense going. They've not been able to move the ball downfield. They haven't really challenged the St. Francis defense all game, and certainly not the goalkeeper. Ball bounced once over to Alex Trular, and Trular is offsides. 24:20 on the clock. Couple of subs stretching down on the sideline for St. Francis with a big lead right now. We may see them clear their bench and give a couple of young players some experience. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that just within the next couple of minutes. Out of bounds, and the flag goes up in the air, indicating that it is still St. Francis ball. Rivera throws it in to Reyes. Reyes loses control, but the loose ball is secured by St. Francis. Harris's first touch is intercepted, but right back to her. Casey Harris trying to control. She lobs it ahead for Trular, but Trular will not go after that ball. It was a little bit too far downfield for her, and it rolls out the back line for a goal kick. Harley Sutton is going to make her first appearance today for Calumet. She comes in for Brianna Doherty, and we got a couple of substitutes coming in for St. Francis as well. A couple of players that we saw in the first half, Grace McDermott, Brittany Cook, both into the game. So they have indeed started to clear that bench a little bit, getting some of these freshmen some extra minutes in a game situation right now that is not all that high pressure, considering it is a 5-goal lead with just about 22 and a half minutes to play. Brzezinski loses it to Harris. Now back to Olivia Hollander. Hollander checked in along with Cook and McDermott just moments ago. Same trio we saw come in together with just a couple of minutes remaining in the first half. Right around midfield, far side. Calumet in possession for the moment. This is Valise knocking it into the box, but on a couple of hops. Stomkowski will wait back on that ball and let it plop harmlessly into her hands.
Another ball for Domkowski that she didn't have to work too hard for. It's been that kind of game for St. Francis. Defensively, they have held tough. Really, the game has been played at the midfield level for St. Francis because their defense hasn't had to step up and do all that much. Calumet hasn't challenged them too many times. $5-0 our score, and you look back to where we were at this time in the first half. It was so much tighter than this. St. Francis waited nearly 35 full minutes to score. It took them about 34 and a half. It was 0-0 up until that point. So for a long time, you kind of had the feeling that St. Francis was the better team, but it was not going to be an easy win for them, just based on the way things have been going, and now starting to turn into an easy one. Substitutions for Calumet. The big one right here is a new goalkeeper. Gina Lucicero is going to come in. Jasmine Castillo will head out. So for the final 20-plus minutes in today's game, new goalie for Calumet. We'll see if the Saints can test her in any way going forward. Certainly you would think they've taken the foot off the gas pedal a little bit from an offensive perspective. That doesn't mean they won't have a few goal scoring opportunities going forward. Shannon Padone hits it out the sideline. Throw in here for the Crimson Wave. That ball hit high up into the air along the far sideline, just about 20 yards out from the Crimson Wave. Tough kick right there, but it'll go right back to Domkowski. Shannon Padone was not able to get the leg on that kick that she wanted. Knocked it up in the air and back a little bit. Domkowski was able to make the play, though. She punts it forward. There's Casey Harris heading the ball right around midfield, across the midfield stripe. Harris still in control, loses it. And right back to St. Francis. Now the ball is loose. And it'll roll out the sideline. Right around where Leslie Rueda is getting set to check back in. Rueda will come in for Alex Trular with 19 minutes to go. Rueda has played the majority of today's game. She sat the last 11 minutes. But now right back out there as that ball rolls back to Domkowski once again. 5-0 Fighting Saints. Trying to pick up their first victory in a month. This is their first home game since August 25th. They started the year 1-1 here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. A 3-0 win against Marygrove, a 2-0 loss against Taylor. Since then, they've been on the road, but primarily since then, they've been off. They had 2 games over Labor Day weekend, but other than that have been inactive. This is just their 3rd game in the last 3.5 weeks. Lobbed into Valise off her chest. She is not able to control it. Instead, it's Estrada kicking it off to the sideline out of bounds. And Estrada down on the ground for just a moment. She's able to pick herself up. She'll hobble off a little bit. Shaken up on that play, but she'll be okay and stay in there. Ball will be set for a St. Francis free kick, just at the edge of the goalkeeper's box. Downfield to Kayla Pate. Pate turns around and sends it into the center. But it's taken away by Brzezinski. Police big kick, but intercepted by Papalera. And Camille Papalera in control now with the Fighting Saints. Papalera to the left, Kayla Pate. Pate along the sideline looking for a streaking Reyes. She finds her. Reyes right on the edge of the box, tries a shot from deep, but it's deflected immediately. Right back to Reyes. Another shot from deep. This one from Hollander. It's high and it's in. Olivia Hollander scores the 6th goal of the game for St. Francis. A deep one from the freshman. It is her first shot of the season, and naturally, her first goal. And not only that, but Olivia Hollander, the freshman from Crystal Lake Central High School, it's her first collegiate goal. 16:47 on the clock. 6-0 St. Francis. For Gina Lucicero, who had played in 2 games prior to today, that is the 10th goal allowed in about 140 minutes played. So she has had some trouble when she's been in there. That one just lofted over her head. A nice kick from Olivia Hollander. Saints are right back at it. It's Calumet battling for the ball. And a whistle blows an injury down at midfield. Hannah Alderson immediately hit the ground after a run-in with Paith there, and she was grabbing her face, so I'm not sure if there was maybe an inadvertent elbow or maybe she was scratched somewhere in the face. She's still kind of clutching at her nose a little bit, so it looked like some inadvertent contact, but there was a collision. She's okay. She's up and playing once again, but the free kick, of course, goes to Calumet, and it doesn't go anywhere as the Saints are able to quash that ball and kick it right back out of bounds. Throw in here for Calumet. 15.5 minutes to play in today's game. There hasn't been a lot of action lately for St. Francis. As I was mentioning, it's their first game today in more than 3 weeks. First game at home, rather, in more than 3 weeks. It's their first game overall in almost 2 weeks. 12 days ago was the last time they were out there. But coming up, the games are going to be coming up rapid fire, as you would expect every year once conference season rolls around. It's the typical 2 games a week as Raquel Montoya checks in for Casey Harris with 14 minutes and 50 seconds to go in today's game. Harris has been out there the whole way and most likely done for the day now as Raquel Montoya gets a chance. Montoya appearing for the first time today, a 5'6" senior out of Thornwood High School from Harvey, Illinois. Headed off to Caleb Pate. Pate's first touch is deflected back to her. And now it's Jessica Reyes. On the outside, a kick towards the box. There's a player there. She kicks it back for a deep shot from Hollander, and that's wide to the left. Hollander getting involved today. She had not attempted a shot all season. Not that she had all that many opportunities. She had only appeared in 3 of the team's first 5 games, and all of them off the bench in limited minutes. Still no shots prior to today, and today she got 2 shots, 1 on goal and 1 in the goal. So with conference season starting today, you can expect for the rest of the season pretty much to see 2 games a week, 1 on the weekend and 1 during the week. There's a battle for the ball. Turning the corner is Andrea Ramirez, but Ramirez can't turn the ball all the way with her out of bounds for a St. Francis throw-in. Next game after today will be Tuesday at Olivet Nazarene, and then back here at home next Saturday against Robert Morris. Their largest gap between games the rest of the season is just 3 days, at least the rest of the regular season. Their final regular season game is October 29th. Conference tournament begins on November 5th. Whether or not St. Francis will be playing in that conference tournament depends on how they play here going forward. One thing's for sure, it's not going to be easy after this game. Not that this one today has been easy, although the score would certainly make it look as though it has been, cleared by Calumet after a little chance right there from St. Francis. 6-0 right now, but remember 34 minutes in, it was 0-0. Calumet played a strong defensive game, but they just have not been able to bring any offense. And as things have gone on, the defense has shown a little bit of a crack, or a few cracks, allowing St. Francis to pile onto this lead. This was not an easy game today, and they're certainly not going to get any easier. So that ball is kicked all the way down towards the net. I think it may have gone out of bounds before Lucicero picked it up, and that's exactly what happened. So that makes it a goal kick rather than a save. Under 12 minutes to play. Along the sideline, that ball will roll out of bounds. Next game is against Olivet Nazarene, 3-0-2 on the season, and then after that, next Saturday here at home, it's against Robert Morris. Robert Morris, 2-0-2 on the season. I mentioned earlier today that every team so far is undefeated in conference except for Purdue Northwest, because Purdue Northwest and Olivet Nazarene are the only two teams that have actually played a conference game. So at least for another 11 minutes, even Calumet College of St. Joseph is undefeated in conference. They're also winless. Not as friendly to put it that way. They're going to need a miracle to come back in this game. Olivet Nazarene and Robert Morris, though, are the only two teams in the conference that are undefeated. They have not lost even a non-conference game yet this year. Both have tied. Again, Olivet 3-0-2, Robert Morris 2-0-2, but both are among the top 30 teams in the nation right now. And both are teams that St. Francis has to be very wary of. If you can get through that two-game stretch, even at just 1-1, certainly if you go 2-0, you're putting yourself in position potentially to win the CCAC. So the next two games are going to be big ones. As for this game, still 6-0. Kayla Paith works her way down the left side. Paith looking for a cross, nobody there. And it's booted away. We're down to the final 10 minutes of today's game. 6-0. St. Francis has a hefty lead. It was 2-0 at halftime. They've gotten 2 goals today from Alex Trular, 2 from Kayla Paith, 1 from Jessica Reyes, 1 from Olivia Hollander into the box, and cleared by St. Francis this time as Papalea knocks it out of bounds for a throw-in. Crimson Wave going backwards, and now kicking it away. It was intercepted. Here comes Rubrick, knocked away. Shannon Padone gives it a big kick all the way downfield. Here's Elizabeth Munoz turning to the outside and turning straight out of bounds. Throw in here for the Fighting Saints. Or is it a throw in for Calumet? Looks like Calumet will toss it in. My mistake. On one bounce, too strong for its intended target. And now right back out the sideline. Another throw in for Calumet. 6-0. They trail the Fighting Saints with 8.5 minutes to play. Saints had a lot of good opportunities in the first half. They weren't able to cash in on them until late in the half. Here in the second half, every time it seems that they've had a good chance, they've finished it off. That's been the difference from a very low-scoring first half to a blowout here in the second. Clock under 8 minutes. Calumet on the run here. It's Brzezinski into the box, trying to work away into the middle, knocked away. Cook on the defense that time, saved a goal. Now here comes Hollander. Hollander kicks it downfield to Kayla Paith. Paith streaking along the sideline. 1-on-1 here. And the defender one, for the moment, has triumphed in that one-on-one battle. Knocked out of bounds. Who touched it last? I guess Calumet did. Fatima Garcia was the defender on that play. She certainly thought Paith was the last one to touch it. There's Reyes with a shot, headed towards the back line. Out of bounds. Goal kick. The 6 goals scored today for St. Francis, not only their highest total of goals in any game this season, but it also is more than they had been able to score all season combined, or at least equal to everything they had scored all season combined entering today. They had scored 6 times in 5 games. Today they've scored 6 times in 1 game. They got a chance for another one here with a free kick. Kiki Estrada is going to take it in a similar location on the field to where a corner kick would be. So it's not a corner kick, it's a free kick. It's not all that far off. Just about 15 feet or so away from that. There's a lob towards the box, headed and out of reach of everybody, as it's just wide to the left. A header that just missed the 7th goal of the game. She went to the back post on the pass. Somebody was in there able to get their head on it, but not quite able to direct it enough. Still 6-0. Cook dribbles it all the way back and now rolls off to Domkowski. She'll hold for a while. Why not? Eat some clock here. Use up that timer without allowing anybody on the Calumet side to control possession. That's what St. Francis has really been trying to do. Just maintain possession, eat some time. Because they're now just 5 minutes away from the win. No sense to hurry things up at this point. Ramirez hits it upstairs. And it bounces back towards the midfield line, but waiting for it there is defender Shannon Padone. Ahead to Paith. Paith turns around and flings it down the sideline. There's a cross to Rueda. Rueda will shoot, and Lucicero will watch that ball go right out of bounds. Goal kick here. Lucicero has not taken any of her own goal kicks so far. They've got a designated kicker for her. They did not have that when Jasmine Castillo was in the game. Cook, nifty ball work around one defender. Ahead to Estrada. Looking for a through ball there, too strong for Paith. Deflected out of bounds. And now we'll get another throw in. Today is the 16th time that St. Francis has met up with Calumet St. Joseph. They have not lost. They're 15-0 and about 3.5 minutes away from perhaps becoming 16-0. It looks like the lead is pretty safe. They're up 6-0, which is a bigger final score than they had the last time they faced these guys. They beat them 4-0 a year ago. That was a different type of game, though. Leslie Rueda scored the game's first goal after just 17 seconds. Today, the first goal wasn't scored until there were 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. So that means a lot more tension in this one. Waiting to see who would score first. Who would score first? It certainly seemed at the time as though St. Francis would, because they were playing just a better overall game. And they did end up scoring first. They had so many more chances. The team that has the most scoring chances is likely going to win. Back out of bounds, another throw in. It's not always execution, although that's obviously a big part of it. But when you have a lot of chances, odds are you're going to capitalize on one of them eventually, if not 2 or 3 or 6. Ball's had an affinity to the out-of-bounds line on the far sideline. Had a lot of throw-ins here. This one belongs to Calumet, but it's stolen away. Header by Reyes back to the goalkeeper, where it's picked up by Lucicero. Ramirez rolls it ahead. Minute and a half to play. St. Francis trying to work their way ahead. They clear it once again, and not able to do it with Grace McDermott chasing that ball down. McDermott couldn't reach it in time to stay in bounds. The clock continues to run, so this is good for St. Francis. It eats the clock down, but they really want to prevent a goal here and get that second shutout victory of the season. There's a big kick down the sideline towards the middle. Bounces once before reaching the box and nearly knocked away by a Fighting Saint. Now it's loose in the corner. 45 seconds to go. And they lose it. They lose it, and it's ahead to Kiki Estrada. And now if they can just pass the ball around, they could effectively end this game. That's not what they do. Instead, the ball goes out of bounds. Throw in for Calumet. Andrea Ramirez back towards the box. Domkowski will pick this ball up, and that will probably do it for Calumet's offense today. Don't expect to see them get another chance here as Domkowski holds on to the ball with 15 seconds left on the clock. She gives it a big punt. Kayla Paith with 10 seconds. Surrounds that ball, now kicks it off to the right side. Jessica Reyes taps it to Rueda. Rueda deep shot as time expires, and it's saved by Lucicero. The game has come to an end. 6-0, our final score. Big victory today for St. Francis. They looked very good in knocking off Calumet College of St. Joseph. Our final score, 6-0. St. Francis getting a good hand from their crowd in attendance today as they pick up their first victory in exactly a month. They won their first regular season game of the year 31 days ago against Marygrove, 3-0. Since then, they weren't able to win a game, but they did show certainly some signs of life on September 5th at Cornerstone. They set that game into double overtime before tying. So 2 equals, St. Francis and Aquinas, but everything else had been a loss. There's only 2 other games. It's not as though they had a huge losing streak going, but sometimes it feels worse than it is when you have that long a gap between victories and that long a gap between games. They've been stewing on that 3-2 loss to Cornerstone from September 5th for the last 12 days, and now finally they've got a positive memory to put back in their heads, and they can be thinking about this one as they head out to Olivet Nazarene to try to topple the Tigers on Tuesday. Quick scoring recap in today's game. It was scoreless for a while. 0-0 for the first 34 minutes. Then with 10.5 to go in the first half, Alex Trular was able to score one from deep to make it 1-0. That was off of starting goalie Jasmine Castillo, who didn't play particularly well today, but didn't play all that poorly either. She was in a tough spot with seemingly a million different shots she had to contend with. She was not able to stop that one. It made it 1-0 in favor of the Saints. Trular got that goal. She figured prominently in the other first half goal as well, with about 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Trular was able to come up with an assist on a beautiful through ball to Jessica Reyes. Reyes scored the second goal to make it 2-0. That was the score at the half. After halftime, Kayla Paith on a breakaway was able to make it 3-0, and that one was with 38.5 minutes to go in the second half. Less than 5 minutes later, Alex Trular scored her second goal of the afternoon, assisted by Casey Harris, her 5th goal of the season, her 2nd consecutive multi-goal game. It was 4-0. Kayla Paith made her 2nd goal on a scramble after the keeper, Castillo, had lost the ball. She dove on it, and then it squirted out of her hands as Paith was able to essentially take it away from her. Her second goal of the game, her fourth of the season, made it 4-0. And finally, Olivia Hollander on a high shot from about 25 yards out. Her first shot as a collegiate, was able to put it in over the head of the reserve goalkeeper, Gina Lucicero. Final score, 6-0, St. Francis. The totals from today's game: 25 shots for St. Francis, just 4 for Calumet St. Joseph. On goal, 12 for the Fighting Saints, 2 for the Crimson Wave. Bethany Domkowski notches her first shutout of the season in her first start of the season. Nice game for her. Didn't have to work all that hard, just one save in each half, but a shutout is a shutout. And St. Francis will happily take it as they move back to 500 at 2-2-1 for the season. Calumet St. Joseph falls to 1-6. Next game for Calumet coming up on Tuesday at home. 7 o'clock start against Judson. St. Francis is on the road this Tuesday, 7 o'clock start time against Olivet Nazarene. That is going to be a tough one for them out in Bourbonnais. Should be a fun one as well. That's going to do it for the broadcast here, so thank you for tuning in. Next home game for St. Francis is a week from today, 11 o'clock next Saturday morning against Robert Morris, and we'll have the broadcast for you right here. We'll also have the broadcast later today of the men's game against Calumet College of St. Joseph. That one just about a half hour away.